2, 1. Hey, we're live. It's the website one meeting. So far we have Nico and Mariam and Sam, and hopefully we'll have Stomatios before too long. Let's pop this new window here. There we go. So things on our agenda for website one. So Nico, you're working on this GitHub content request, which we reviewed in the Scrum before, and nice direction, looking good. You want to get CI on the AV repo. Is there anything else on your mind about website one at the moment?
Well, profiles that we talked yesterday, but maybe we can discuss it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a new feature, isn't it?
How to, I don't know, how to start working on it.
Right. Indeed. Mariam, how are things with you? Is there anything that you need or you're thinking about for website one?
Yes, I have started that ticket. It's the one about bi-weekly events. Right. I think nobody is working on it, so is it all? Yeah, okay. So I just thought that maybe instead of bi-weekly, let's just set the number of days that the user wants. I don't know if it's a good idea or not.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at that together. Yeah, and I guess I'm trying to think if there was like anything on my mind. I mean, I guess any new tickets need voted, review of the board. I guess. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just quickly have a look at. Let's go because that adventures there. That oh gosh. That Nico's working against. Now, yeah, you had a pull request, didn't you, Mariam? I think that's really
yes,
yeah. You were saying to me that that's you checked that it failed in the right way. So yes. I think that can be merged. Oh, I guess I did contact Coveralls about getting this stuff fixed, and they kind of said, okay, yeah, what's your they did reply asking for some more details, which I gave them, and I don't think they have yet done anything about it. Yeah, still, I told them which one it was. They haven't fixed it. Oh well. But yeah, thanks very much for that pull request, Mariam. Much appreciated. Yeah, breaking that apart. Excellent, lovely. So you were saying that you were thinking of working on a new feature, Mariam, and which was the feature that you said it? Your audio broke up a little bit, and I didn't quite hear which feature you said you thought you would work on.
Yes, it's already in the column, the one about bi-weekly events.
Oh, bi-weekly events. Yeah. Oh, lovely.
It's the.
Yeah. That would Yeah, that is absolutely wonderful. This is the kind of thing like there's quite a few things that I want to make bi-weekly recently. I think it would be a lovely thing to have. Yes, and so what we can do maybe to help assign you to that ticket is we can go. So it's Mariam 21, and my brain's really struggling. I just have a little sip of coffee. Hold on. Okay, right. Yeah. Okay. And Stomatios is here. Hey, Stomatios. Good to see you. Yeah. I'm just going to go and do what we did for Stomatios and Stu the other day, which is go to the teams and add Mariam to the website one team, so that she can have be assigned to tickets and have more access there and so on. So I think that Stu hasn't yet accepted his invitation. Okay. 21.
Yes.
Yeah, that's you, isn't it?
Yes.
Good show. All right. And so once we've done that, now, so you will need to go to github.com/AgileVentures or check your email and like say that you accept being a member of that group, and then we can sort you all out. While we're doing that, let's just go to Stamatios. Stamatios, did you have any? Yeah, I think you started on a new ticket, haven't you? Which is the it's the Karma linkage.
Correct,
isn't it? Yeah. Did you have anything on your mind? Any particular blocks? Anything at all?
So I thought I understood the ticket was all about writing a Cucumber script to test the actual functionality, which I believe was in another branch. When I grabbed the branch that was associated with it, I didn't see any functionality which was related to the Karma.
Okay.
So if I understood it correctly, basically it's supposed to be that once a user logs in, then there's a link that's supposed to be underneath their profile picture.
Yes.
And it's supposed to click. Once they click it, it goes to the activity page, but that wasn't even linkable at all. So at least from what I understood.
Yeah, I mean this feature that Stamatios is working on is the one. It's to turn this. It's currently just orange number, so that when you click on it, this pane, this tab switches over. Is basically what it is. Just to try and increase the chance that people might understand what this number means. So there is a branch with some functionality relating to that, but so maybe we need to have a look for that. Yeah, we can look for that. But so Mariam, if you've now accepted that, then conceivably we can reload this page and assign you to the bi-weekly events thing, which would be a lovely thing to get done. So that's
still didn't get it.
Yeah, so you may or may not get the email, but I put if you go to github.com/AgileVentures, I put the link in the Google chat there. Then it should offer you. I'm assuming that I've got your GitHub correct. Then it just going to the website. I sent you the link in Slack again as well. Anyway, let me know when you're able to do that.
Okay.
Oh, there's Praveen. Praveen.
Okay, just got it.
Your audio broke up there, little Mariam, but maybe you were saying that you're added there. Anyway,
yes, I just.
You accepted it. Yeah, there we go.
Yes, I just got the invitation. I just got it.
Yep,
yes.
Great. So there.
Yeah.
I want to do this once and twice. Yeah. So you're assigned. Great stuff. Okay, so let's come back now. Did you have any questions about this ticket or this functionality before you started working on it, Mariam?
It says that the events. I just thought that it was let the user choose the number of days. I don't know.
Right. Yes. There's a more. Yeah. So this one is all about. If we go to events, and let's say that we're creating an event. Yeah. At the moment, the repeat. We basically only have weekly repeats. And yeah, we could have. I mean, there's. Hi, Praveen. Good of you. Like, if we create an event in, Google Calendar, it gives us a whole series. Like, we've got the repeats. Basically, there's a huge. You can sort of choose which days I mean, there you've then got here the opportunity for it to choose to repeat every 3 days, every week, every number of months and years, and so on. So I mean, one could put in a lot of options, but at the moment, the whole event repeating system that we have is kind of complex and also causes a huge performance issue on our site generally. So I'd probably go for just doing the simple thing. Maybe allowing. Oh, we lost Mariam there. Okay. I guess I'll put my notes into here, which is so maybe allow. Yeah, I mean, I would say let's keep it the simplest. Unfortunately, we lost Mariam there. So let's move on. Praveen has also joined us. Hey there, Praveen. We're just going through all these different things. Have you got any updates on Website 1?
Yeah, I just updated the PR for empty GitHub repo task.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I started 3 builds because of my branch was out of like develop was not merged into that. So
okay,
3 builds are running, out of which one has already passed and 2 are currently running. There's no way to cancel the previous build. So
yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, okay. And so right, and so you've now we've adjusted the specs to check for these different circumstances. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you and I looking at Cucumber tests on this before?
No.
Okay, just
you said that we need some feature specs for that, but we didn't had any chance to work on that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's I can review that. I mean, it's an interesting question with something like this, which is like a background thing about whether we should, try and have high-level features that are like readable, that someone can understand.
Yes.
What was the issue?
But I did
that's right. When you and I worked on it together, we looked at why the R specs were this, that, and the other. Yeah. Okay. So review. Sorry, go on. What were you going to say?
So I was saying that, but I did the separate context for this issue. Like if
the empty project is present. Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely, great. Well, I'll get ahead and make sure that gets reviewed ASAP. Are you now looking for a new ticket to work on?
I can work on, but it should be a smaller one.
Right.
I guess. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. We'll see what we can find. I see Mariam's now come back. Mariam, just to summarize, I think the thing to do is, I would say let's make sure that we do something that as simple as possible to get the feature that's requested, and then see if we want to add stuff on top of that, because we never know if there's going to be more complicated stuff coming up. Do you know what I mean, Mariam? Mariam is muted at the moment. Not sure she can hear us. All right. Well, let's go back around to Nico. So Nico is working on a very interesting thing for us now, which is the GitHub content, which is the idea that we're going to pull markdown files out of this Azure Ventures repo, and then we're going to use that instead of as a way to update and edit the files, rather than using the Mercury editor, and throw away the Mercury editor. Yay! No Mercury editor. Yay! I'm looking forward to that day. Now you were saying that there were some characters in these files, Nico, that now you've got like the cram down gem.
Yeah, you have the, for example, if you enter to code of conduct there.
Code of conduct.
Or if you check the commit, the history of that file or whatever, you will see.
Yeah, you've removed some.
The description of.
So you made a change.
For example, that one. Yeah. There you have in the description. That was the character that it was.
Okay, so there was like a Unicode character.
Yeah.
In there rather than an ASCII one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So
there were a couple of things that it were
right. So there was so there's the little issue there is so Cramdown can't handle Unicode, Charles. Would the simpler thing than putting CI on here to handle that, would it be easier if we just forced the incoming Markdown into ASCII format? You know what I mean? And then
how do you do that?
Well, I mean once this stuff has been pulled out of it feels like a kind of a bug on the Cramdown. I guess we could look at for
I already created the first test if you want
to Ruby force text to ASCII. I mean it feels like to me that rather than necessarily setting up CI on on the Agile Ventures, I mean, I think if you look, you can find there's ways to convert these things. But it feels like a bug on the Cramdown thing. Like what the gem that's processing the file coming in should do is rather than just crashing and saying I can't do anything, it should just do its best effort, and then what we would end up seeing if that was being imported into a static page in in wherever for us, then it would just show that weird character, and then we would go and edit Agile Ventures in order to remove the character, rather than the presence of a inappropriate character kind of breaking the whole flow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand, but I don't know why I feel that it's better to stop that error before it gets to the page.
Well, that's true. You could say that we want to, but I guess the thing that makes me feel cautious about that is maybe in the future we switch to a different gem that can handle those characters or what have you. Do you know what I mean? It's like it feels like we're anticipating.
But you will have to change the code that is working on the files for converting them.
Sure, but that might change. I mean, I guess it feels like we're making the fix kind of further downstream. Like there's a series of stages here. Like it's like we've got the original text, and then it comes into the AV repo, right?
Yep.
And then your job runs and pulls it into the static pages thing, right? And it's just stored there, and then that gets rendered by the Rails and then the Cramdown and to display on the page, right? That's the kind of sequence of stuff that it's doing. Like someone writes the text, they put it into here, this job runs every 24 hours, that's pulls it into the static pages in the database in our system, and then somebody views the page and Cramdown tries to convert the thing in there, right? That's the sequence, isn't it? And you're saying you want to have CI here to stop any characters that Cramdown can't handle getting into the database.
Yeah, the thing is that Cramdown, it will fail,
right? And
the file, it won't get converted,
right? But so I would say
it won't get to the database.
Anyway. Okay, so right, I would say don't run it through Cramdown to put it. I get. All right, so you're running it through. So okay, that's the sequence is different. Then you're saying that you're running it through the job runs it through Cramdown before it stores it in the database.
Yes.
Why not just store what comes off here directly in the database?
You say the Markdown. Okay.
Yeah, just store the Markdown.
Can do that. Okay. Yeah.
I guess. Right. So you're at the moment you're having the Cramdown. This Cramdown is converting the Markdown here into HTML, and you're storing HTML in the database, and then you're rendering the HTML.
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
Okay. Right.
Because as we were storing HTML, I didn't want it to change the way that we were working. So
yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Yes. Okay. Right. So that's very good for like to get this straight in my mind that that's the current sequence. So maybe, and this in principle, this is like faster. It will like load the pages faster because their HTML doesn't have to go through an extra processing stage. You're doing the processing once there, which this is probably going to be more efficient the way that you have it set up. I guess I would see it as what I would first do if Cramdown can't have it is I would go to the Cramdown GitHub page and open a bug report there to say can't handle UTF characters, and we might even find that somebody else has already fixed that or raised that issue or what have you.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, I'll try not to push too hard on it. You might be right that the CI on AV repo is that's a good short-term thing. But yeah, I definitely see if we can get you like because it feels I feel like you could just as easily add a step here that will like the force code to ASCII.
That will be perfect. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Which I think you can. So there's some different. So there's Cramdown bug report. There's force code to ASCII. But there's a few. Yeah, there's a few. Because particularly like with this one, like so we've got some different options there. With this doing the CI then has to detect the character, right? So have you already got?
The only thing that I'm doing is converting the file from. Okay, you can go to the test that I created. The only thing that I'm doing is converting the file from Markdown to HTML, and I'm checking that I'm not triggering any errors.
Okay. Right. Yes. So right, you're just checking that the Cramdown thing completes.
It works.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, well, that's good too. Yeah. Right. So that's. I mean, then we've got the issue of like the version of Cramdown here has to be locked to the Cramdown that's the one being used in the other repo and so on.
Yeah,
they're all good things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll add AV to Semaphore, or well, we have to think about there. Do we really want to use Semaphore, or do we want to use maybe we use Travis instead?
Or Travis, yeah.
I don't know. I love the fact that the Travis has its configuration committed into GitHub. Anyway. So that's we can follow up on that there. Any comments on what we're talking about here from anybody else?
Not for me.
I guess we'll come back around. Nico's got some wonderful ideas about new user profiles, which we'll maybe share in a bit. Hopefully, Mariam heard the thing that we talked about, which is being as simple as possible. Let's just look on to what Stomatios is working on. So the thing for Stomatios. And Stu. Hello, Stu. Hi, Stu. Hello, Stu. Hope you can hear us. So the thing that Stomatios is stuck on is so Stomatios is working on 1817 here, which is about this, making this like a link here. And so you were like, there is this pull request. Let's go and look at it all in the thing over here. And go 1817. So this was this thing, and then we've got a pull request that's linked in. So Stomatios, you were trying to. So did you create? Did you pull in Aaron's branch?
Yes, I pulled in this one in particular.
Okay, and then I mean, you can see here the code. This is the functionality. This is where we're creating a hyperlink for the Karma.
Right.
And then here is the little bit of JavaScript that will change the tabs when that gets clicked on. So if you run it locally, you're saying it doesn't. The functionality does not work for you.
Right. At least from what I could see on the I guess on a high level, while running it locally, it wasn't showing up at all.
So now I guess that was. Let's have a look. Website 1. Do you want to? Have you got that with you locally so we can kind of dig into it, because that's a sort of a pretty serious blocker for you. This is what I was saying yesterday about checking out a new branch, but let's see, have I got there? I've got Aaron's branch there, which is kind of up to date and maybe has been merged in a few times, different things. B-Rails S. Stu, can you hear us okay?
Good.
Yeah, oh, okay, good stuff. Great to see you. We've just been doing our usual thing that we do in the meeting, which is sort of go around and look at what everybody's working on and check if people are blocked. Just while I bring up the server there, I should go and start it. Let's go over here. There. Yep. That's hopefully thinking about it. So Nico's working on a wonderful new framework to have the static pages be pulled out of another GitHub repo, so we can get rid of the old Mercury editor. And we've just been talking about the pipeline flow there. Mariam's just about to start on a new ticket about she's working on adding support for bi-weekly events. And she was just sort of saying maybe we could have allow the user complete freedom to set the number how many days it takes to repeat, which we could. We were just looking at the how Google Calendar often offers lots of options. I mean, that would be great, just because our event system is so complex and performance hog at the moment. I would be tempted to do the simplest thing, but it's up to Mariam to see how she goes. Praveen has just got he's got a GitHub commit thing that I need to review for him, and is maybe looking for another small ticket. We're just looking at Stamatios has started on another ticket where the functionality has already been added, and we want to add tests, but is having trouble finding the functionality. I wonder if this is related to. So here we are with. I don't know, on your local machine, Stamatios, what data that you have there. Oh gosh, undefined method count for. Oh gosh, what we had this error, didn't we, before? Nico, this is the one I probably need to let's merge base into it. Git merge develop.
I don't remember the.
Yeah, this is the one. Remember this one? This was the Rails 5 thing, right? Action controller parameters. This was. I think you fixed all of these, yes. But I think we've got an outdated branch there. But you got the branch working on your machine, Stamatios, right?
So the branch, everything works.
Yep.
So I see website 1. I'm able to log in under random user or random whoever. But the only thing is the functionality regarding the link doesn't. I don't see the link.
You don't see the link at all. Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Even when I hover over it.
And I think we have this issue where when users are not members of projects and things, it hides stuff. It's really annoying. It's just the most annoying, ridiculous thing that I hate. But because not that you shouldn't hide things that are not used, but you've got there's a big lack of transparency. So here, so this is it for me locally here. And I've clicked it, and now that is it's supposed to work, and it's not. Well, it's not working. Let's just have a look.
I think that you said in a comment that it was failing for you.
Right, and maybe the one that he always. Yeah, right. So I had a working version of this, right? Maybe in a different branch. I think. Okay, so the pull request was maybe Aaron's attempt to get it working. Yeah, I think you're right, Nico. And then, so can I hear? Maybe I shouldn't have pulled in. Do I have Karma tests to activity? Karma points to activity tab. Oh, right. So I think, right, this was the branch then. Maybe. So I kind of was trying to support, I was mentoring Aaron through making it, and yeah, I had a working version. So which is the branch that you were on there, Stamatios?
the one that you just pulled in the 1817 link. Yeah, this one right here. Links Karma, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, so this one here, the one from Aaron is like Karma points to activity tab was his one. What did I end up saying? Right, and I said, not working for me. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. But if
so
I
did notice there was another branch under 1817. It says Qt test for Karma points to activity tab. I didn't pull that one in.
Yeah, I noticed there's another. So there's two of them here. There's 1817 Karma points to activity tab and 1817 link user page Karma to activity tab. And I've just gone to that one. Let's reload here. Ah, yeah. There you go. Right.
Let's see.
So that's where it was. Now, and the difficulty with the random user, like, if we go to an arbitrary user, and I've got sort of a copy of the like production database. If we go on this page, oh, they will still have. Okay, so here at least, like, we've got this issue that for new users, they won't have the activity tab available by default, but at least here, for this, you can see that there is the number, and it is actually a hyperlink.
Right.
So I think, go on.
I was just going to say, what branch was this under?
Yeah, so this branch is, come here, branch. There. This is 1817 link user page Karma to activity tab. I'll put that in there. Yeah, so this is like after a session with Aaron, in which he originally hadn't had it working. I then spent 15 minutes afterwards and got it working. We'd sort of talked through it, but then it was sort of his task to kind of like take what was in that branch and so on. And yeah, and then yeah, as you noticed, there is like another one which is like Qt test points to activity tab, which may have, you know, even more useful bits of pieces. Can I get can I do code there and see what it's got? So that might actually have the start of a Cucumber test, but presumably now with that other branch name, we've kind of made things a bit easier for you, I guess.
And also, so the random user, I guess, it probably wouldn't work if I logged into that user. But so, what user should I be using?
Yeah, well, that's a good credentials. Like potentially, I think probably the thing that we need to do is make it so that it does work for the random user. I mean, you can basically play with the random user in the seed file and how he's created to try and sort that out. I mean, the thing to be, I was just going to try and see here if I could. I mean, if I do git hist here, can I see fitness test working? I wanted to get Stu, so you had to go. Oh well. No worries. Sorry, Stu. Wanted to get you involved. Check in on how you were doing. We need like lots of little micro events because not everything is kind of relevant for everybody, is it? Difficult. Okay. Yeah, so the thing I was going to say there for Thematios is, yeah, what you want to look at is come and look at the view for the user. I think the profile, is it? Basically, kind of within here, so what show for the user, you can sort of see how all these different bits are being pulled in. We've got summary and detail, which are being pulled in from different things here. And we've got this, you'll see there's a whole series of checks which like control what's actually being displayed and what isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for our purposes, like really, we would just like the activity tab to be there anyway. We've got li for activity tab, tab pane. Does it have a? Is it got a check there, or have I removed it? I'm not sure. But I think part of this now is you kind of want to dig around. Like if the random user is not showing the thing, then you kind of need to dig around and work out why it's not showing. Do you know what I mean?
I see. Because the goal is to have it show for everybody, for every single user. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, I think what we need to do is work out what's happening, and you know, what's the word, and then work out what's the best way for for it to be displayed and available. I mean, part of what you can do with the Cucumber test is you can create up a particular kind of user that will have the connections. And Nico here is mentioning like having a super busy, like there could be different kinds of users in the seed. So yeah, I mean, that would be sort of spiking the user and creating one. What I would encourage though is sort of, I don't pretend to understand exactly how all of these views have all been set up and how they work and the little checks that they're doing to like check whether to display stuff or not. I mean, I think what frustrates me about this links back into Nico's wanting to look at like new user profiles and so on, is we've got things like this, if the presenter has skills, right? So you find yourself on a page here, but there's no, like, I think particularly if you're—
There's no way for the user to add more skills if he needs to, for example.
I think that, like, so if you are the user themselves, then you can like you can edit and then you can add skills. But it's kind of, I think there's the challenge is that you have to hit edit first before you realize that you can edit some skills.
Yep.
And I think that what would be more suitable is if I mean, you could have the other functionality here, like skills. I mean, you could say like, and make it only visible to the user who's currently logged in. But by having like skills there, and then when you click on it and it says skills, then you can have another button that says edit your profile to add skills. So you kind of make the different functionality discoverable.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the profile. But so it's kind of, it's all, I mean, it's kind of getting away from the specifics of the particular, ticket. So you don't want to get too far off into the woods. As you're thinking about other things, we could create other tickets and other changes that we think we might want. Yeah, hopefully with access to all three of those branches, you can between them find the kind of pieces that you need. Does that make any sense?
Okay, so just to be clear, so we're going a little bit beyond the scope of what the tasks ask for. So it's going beyond testing, but you want me to just add functionality to it to basically, I'm going to try to rehash what you had just said, but basically have the user be able to add and edit their own skills.
Right, but that's me all talking about what they should have, not what you should do in this ticket.
Okay.
So I think for you working on this ticket, you want to stick,
strictly to the test.
You want to stick as closely as possible to, like, I would say in general. I mean, this is my rule, and maybe it's my rule for myself or whatever. Is always do the minimum possible. Like, and it kind of maybe seems like, well, that's a bit lazy, isn't it? Shouldn't we do more? But like with computers and code and just everything, it's sort of like there's so many unknowns, and it so often seems to like blow up in our faces that kind of my like general cautious conservative approach is let's always just do the minimum. The thing. Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna go.
No, but it doesn't mean that it is the only thing that you have to do. I mean, you can do like little things, but a lot.
That's right. That's right. It's certainly not that one shouldn't end up making lots of changes. It's more that you want to kind of make sure that like getting anything done, there's a series of different small changes. That first small change, we make sure that it is a small change, because that's the danger with the computing, is that sometimes that first small change actually turns out to be a lot more complex. But yeah, in order for you to investigate this one, the one thing, particularly if the random user doesn't have I mean, this was the thing here, Mr. Mathias. Do you have the website one running locally on your machine? So you've described a situation that you saw, but if you had that running and you were sharing your screen with us, we could talk much more precisely about that, because maybe what, like, you just, for you, when you went to the random user, it didn't even have a 0 next to it?
I believe it even had a number. I don't remember what the number was, but when I was hovering over it, I wouldn't even, I was clicking on it, nothing would show up after that.
Okay, yeah. But do you currently have the website one running on your machine now?
No, not at the moment, no.
Oh, well, don't worry about it. So no, I think I can now piece together all the different bits and pieces, which is that, yeah, it had the number. It probably looked something like this, right? It had the number, right? It didn't have the activity tab. And as I think, so from Aaron's pull request, the functionality doesn't work. So presumably now, if you switch to the branch that we're talking about, which I've just shown where it works, if you go to the random user, you will, at least when you mouse over the thing, you'll be able to see that it, it links to something slightly different. Do you know what I mean?
I do, but I thought this was the same branch that I was using.
Well, remember, I've jumped backwards and forwards between 2 different branches here, right? So there's
like the one that you messaged inside of the chat.
The one that I messaged, this 1817 link user page karma to activity tab, that has commits from me in it, which work. The other one that we've got so many different. We've got the other one, which is the one from. The other one, which is this 1817 karma points to activity tab, that's from Aaron, right? That has one that doesn't work, but is more nicely styled, in that the number is also orange.
Got you.
So that's the I mean, that's the kind of the thing to check and figure out here is we've got these 3 different branches. I haven't even really been able to check the cool. So we've got these 3 different branches. I don't recall if the Qt test one has something valuable or important in it. It might have been from a session with Aaron where I was showing him how to get started with Cucumber sessions, Cucumber tests. If we go to the code on here, I can probably go and find the branch. Do we have that branch? And then we could look at the most recent commits on that branch, and then we could see here we go, acceptance test working. So that's that code there. And have we got an acceptance test in there? Yeah, so there we go. There's an example of the acceptance test.
Gotcha. Okay, what branch is this one?
So this is on the 1817 Qt test for karma points to activity tab.
Okay. And the only other thing is that I'm not seeing the 1817. Yeah, that last one that you had just said. I'm not even seeing it in the when I search for the branches. I only see 2 branches.
You probably need to do git fetch origin, where origin would need to be the main thing.
I mean, I'm looking on the GitHub page itself for website one under Agile Ventures. I thought I would see it under there if I.
Yeah, well, I'm on it here, right? Like I'm in that like here.
Oh, okay.
This is. Let me put this there. So that's the link to that code and the commits on website one. So there is you will ultimately be able to get that onto your computer even if it's not there now.
Gotcha.
So apologies. This ticket ends up being like a hunt the different stuff over multiple branches, but it's kind of, it might feel like, oh, I'm not doing any coding, but being able to navigate the different branches and get to the bottom of this is actually a really important skill. But I
love a challenge.
There you go. Build character, they say. Yeah, so I think we've at least partially unblocked you, if not terminally confused you. But that's feel free to reach out for more help on that. We can pull it and sort it out. Stu, welcome back. How are things going with you? You've taken on a new ticket, I believe.
Yeah. So it was let me see what it was. Basically to build a framework to allow editing of the static pages.
Yes.
Yes, I've been looking around the code this morning, and I'm pretty sure I can do the functionality. It was just that I got, just a bit confused of how you would go about doing it as a team and how you'd like me to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and so the thing here is the functionality is already there in as much as editing static pages and so on. We just using a and maybe you know this already. I'll answer for us. Using a global flag, we turned off the ability to edit.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, yeah. So you found that bit of the code. I'll check out develop. I mean, the other thing that we are doing related to this that I was mentioning, so ultimately when Nico we gets this GitHub content pages thing, the functionality for this allowing editing will sort of become redundant because edit permissions will end up being what is the word, coming in through people who can merge in GitHub rather than through this. But
that's what I thought. I wondered why you had it. I wondered why you was doing it through an editor, like a.
Well, it's been done for the last 4 or 5 years. When the system was built originally, it was done through the Mercury editor to sort of create a kind of wiki-like system, and with the idea that everybody in the community would, be able to kind of contribute. But as I maybe explained in previous meetings, it just ended up with it not being very clean, and we've seen people in the we've seen people use this model where they store the kind of curriculum or content in another GitHub repo and allow GitHub to manage all of the editing and flow, and then just display the results on the site. Actually creates a nicer end result. But so what it would be very useful to have this functionality that is in the ticket that we had someone else work on and now you pick up in the short term until we get the GitHub content pages thing all worked out, which might take a while because it's got migrations and all different other. It would be great to allow those users who are appropriately privileged to edit the pages. That would be very handy in the short term. So this is kind of a short term fix. I would do this. Check out develop. Get origin develop. But yeah. So in terms of asking how to implement the functionality, if that's the question on your mind.
It was, so for example, the privileged person, the privileged user.
Yes.
Do you want if you got like a page that you've got where you want a super admin to be able to click who's a privileged user or not?
No, we don't. Well, and this is what we were discussing a little bit earlier, maybe you dropped in or out or whatever, is about doing the absolute simplest thing possible. So yeah, one can imagine an admin screen where a super user could add other admins and so on and so forth. And that would potentially be very useful down the line. But in the context of the project, particularly that this would be a short-lived fix that's going to then disappear, we want to add the absolute minimal amount of functionality just to get away with things, particularly in the context of, there's always the potential for hidden surprises, for things that go wrong and make what seemed like a simple thing become much more complex and difficult.
I think I've got the methods there to do it already. It's just
I think so.
On the user model, I'm trying to figure out how to say a user is privileged.
Yes, and so I was just going to focus in on here. So this is like the show page here. So this is the specific feature here that basically checks for, have we, if we remove this, then basically everybody in the site, this is how it was for 4.5 years. Anybody who was logged in could edit. Yeah, and so what we would be adding here is something like here, it would be like current user, is privileged.
Is privileged, yeah. So I think there's a method called membership type.
There is. I mean, but that's separate from privileged. But I think the other thing is that I don't know if we actually had a pull request. So we had did we ever have a pull request? Working on because this was the thing. I worked with, you know, in a sort of mentor-mentee setup, like worked through exactly how this would be done with the person who started working on it before, which was Clement. And I'm just trying to, now which is the ticket? Where's it gone? Private events for.
There you go. At top of ready.
Top of ready. Oh, this is the, yeah. So there's a pull request here, which is a spike of it, which has the code for how it kind of works.
Okay, I didn't even see that.
No worries. I mean, this is the same thing for Stomatius. Both of you have taken on tickets that previous volunteers had kind of like started and then sort of dropped. But so if we look in this context, so you can see, for example, what we did here. There are methods like is privileged and membership type, and so in this spike, we didn't use any tests. We basically created a new method user can edit.
Yep.
Inserted that there. You know, we made user can edit. This is like return false and then that. That's kind of a weird. I think that must be like wrong. It's like this code's never going to run here.
Yeah,
there must be a mistake there. Yeah, this was just sort of like a spike of like throwing the kind of code together, and then there was an example here of what the Cucumber test might be like for checking that this will work.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe I was overcomplicating things in my mind as to what you wanted.
Potentially so. Well, and I think you also imagining, you know, you're imagining like nice to haves and other stuff down the line. And yeah, like the short term for me is like, in order to like, there are like, you know, minor little fixes that are needed in like various static pages. I can do them at the moment, but I have to go and turn on like editing globally for everybody, make those little fixes, hope that someone else doesn't accidentally, of the tens of thousands of people coming to the site, doesn't accidentally thing and then turn it off. But yeah, so the potentially it's just, you know, a very, very simple fix that we just get in. It allows the editing for shortly. I think that must be, that line just must be wrong. It should be user can edit and then it's that. Yeah. Yeah. So and then there's you know, layers of complexity that we can add later on. But I think we just, in the first instance, we probably just need a simple helper method that allows us to gate here, you know, who can see this edit button.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I basically coded out that, and you get a little edit button come up, don't you?
That's right. This is, yeah. I mean, yeah. This is so the edit button's there. So there's, yeah. The new functionality is no more than this.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's I hope that that's not disappointing if you were looking for like more stuff to do in terms of because of the framework that we have with the CI and so on. Like just doing a tiny little thing and then getting the pull request in and then having it pass all of the many integration tests and then getting it merged through the pipeline and deploy is, you know, a lot more than it would be when you're just, it's one person doing their own project and just pushing it straight out to.
Yeah, that's I haven't really done much of that, so it's very useful for me to learn it.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it'll be enjoyable as well. But yeah, so there's certainly much more complex things to work on going forward, and I think it's very helpful to complete a kind of development cycle loop.
Yeah,
once round before moving on. Okay.
So do I have to do a Cucumber test for it?
Well, you don't have to do a Cucumber test for it, but I probably won't merge it until we have tests on it. So you know, feel free. We often work in a framework of, you know, spiking things. That's, I mean, both of these features have initially been spiked, which is like.
What does spike mean?
So spike is to do something without tests.
Okay.
Right. It's to not test drive it. It's just to check that the thing that we want to do is even possible to do. That you know, we just sort of experiment with doing it and making it work. Okay. And in the sort of really strict version of development, you would then throw away that spike. You would then test drive the creation of it, see those tests fail, and then you would re-add in the functionality based on your understanding and see the test pass in order to make sure. But so have you studied much of the TDD kind of approach, BDD, any of that?
RSpec, but I can't remember much of Cucumber.
Yeah, well,
I found that a bit harder than RSpec, but I think I've got RSpec.
Yeah, I mean, Cucumber adds another layer. Ultimately, Cucumber is just a little veneer on top of RSpec. It uses the same commands underneath. But what I would say is, why don't you focus on just getting something working and getting a pull request in?
Okay. Yeah.
And then we can look at that, and then we can do rounds on different kinds of testing and so on later on.
All right. So there's a branch already for this one, is there? I've missed it.
So if you look at things in the waffle board, or even in the GitHub, what it does is like, so this is you see there, like, ticket 1955.
Yeah.
Is the ticket, but you can see, like, in the waffle board, anytime that a pull request says that it fixes a particular ticket number, it gets added at the bottom here. So you can see pull request 2141 there is associated with that. And so that you don't have to use that branch. You might want to look at that branch and then create your own branch. I mean, we then end up with a situation like we had for Thematios, with there can be multiple branches that start with the same number to begin with. But you can also see in the issue itself on GitHub, you see the spike of allowing only premium privileges to edit select pages. I mean, there's a pull request that was closed out. But so you can click through on that, and then you can see the pull request, and you can see the branch name here.
Yep. So even with Git, I'm not too sure about it.
Sure.
So basically, if I was to start this from the beginning, so I start a new branch locally on my machine.
Yeah. So what I would say is, even if we back up slightly, even before then, is we've invited you into the website one repo. So we need you to either to respond to the email that you got about being invited, assuming that I've invited the right person, or go to the github.com/agileventures and accept the invite there. And we can just maybe quickly, I mean, I need to wrap up soon, but we can just maybe quickly go through the sequence of things that takes place for, getting a pull request in. And this is the kind of thing that we would like to have in the documentation that's going to be all in the great repo for Nico is working on. Do we actually already have one in there? Agile Ventures. Agile Ventures. Do we all have one on how to do a pull request? I guess we have the contributing thing. How to do a pull request is going to be a big one in there. Were you able to accept the invite, Stu?
Yeah, I thought I did, but maybe I just clicked on the link. Maybe. I'm pretty sure, because I did go through the actual email. So
yeah,
I
guess we'll just go to the Teams there and check that. And we've got the website one. In the background, I think, Nico, the one other thing, you were wondering how to get started on changes to the members pages. So is this you, Stu?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's saying that it hasn't been accepted yet.
Okay. So
it's not giving me an option to update it, but if you go to github.com/agileventures, like the URL, it should offer you, like at the top in like a blue pop-up or something, saying, you've been invited. Do you want to accept the invitation?
I've done that now. I should.
Okay.
I just did it.
Wonderful. So that should probably tell me, yeah, you are now a member. Right. So what that means is, now that you're a member, I can actually specifically assign you to or you can even assign yourself to the ticket in Waffle. So that's kind of the first step there.
You broke up on that last little bit.
I think I'm going to assign you to the ticket in Waffle.
Okay.
Which you could do yourself in future, but I'll do that here. So we've got that one here, and so it's trying to find you, but it's not working. Oh gosh. While I'm thinking about that, let's just say, yeah, Nico, so you know, there's different ways of if we wanted to do new things with the members pages, like it could be just like making small incremental fixes and changes to the existing thing,
Okay.
or it could be designing a new complete layout and doing it in the React system that we have.
That would be
So-
cool. Yeah, I think that would be the best doing it.
Yeah,
React, but how will you integrate something that we are coding in other repository? I mean, at the end, if we have a profile page ready to go.
I mean, basically what it's going to be is that the React front end will replace the front end of the Agile Venture side. But the model that I'm looking at is having, two, so at the moment, gosh,
Yeah.
let me
But for example, you will have deployed the React project in, I don't know, a bucket from S3.
Yeah. So at the moment, I've got React here sitting on react-agileVentures.org, right?
Yep.
What I will do is I'll switch it round so that React app sits on www.agileVentures.org,
Yeah.
and I will move the existing Rails app so that it sits at api.agileVentures.org, and so the React app will talk remotely to the Rails app.
Yeah, I get that. But for example, if you want to get it done, but in an incremental way, is there a way to do it, or you just
with that model, with the API model, it has to be a big switchover. I mean, you can in principle put React in different places and do it piecemeal. And there's at least 3 different gems to do that. And I tried all of them, and none of them works with our acceptance testing system.
Perfect. Okay.
So that was why I kind of went for this switchover thing.
Yeah.
So annoyingly there, unfortunately, right. It's HES 3000. I thought I was going to be able to add you via the word Duffy. Silly me for having thinking that Waffle would allow me to do that. But so I think that's now assigned to you. So that now lets other people who are browsing at least this board, I think even on GitHub, that's something that you would want to look at, Stu. So the process of starting to develop Vue, and we've got this to some extent, I think is written out in our contributing.md file. And so what you can do now is you don't have to work off a fork. You can like clone the Agile Ventures repo locally. We've got contributing. So there's a thing on pull requests here. So this is like the first step here. I mean, we don't mention it, but what you should be wanting to do is you be on develop and you do git check. This is a remote -v grep origin. So you assuming that the origin is the Agile Ventures website 1 site like so, then you would do git pull origin develop when you're in the develop branch to make sure you've got the latest of whatever's been merged in.
Yeah.
You then might do bundle, and you might also run the tests. Just to so you could. I'll just do the Jasmine tests, but to make sure that everything's reading your machine. You've maybe done that already, but it's good to get into sort of a habit of doing that for any new stuff that comes down, just to make sure that that you're working from a green base. Annoyingly, running the test takes longer than we would like, so it's kind of do your best there. But so here you can do git checkout -b, and then you take the number of the ticket. So we go to 1955 there, and then you can give it a name of whatever you fancy.
Yeah.
And so that creates that for you locally here. And then you can do some work locally, and at any time you can just push that branch up. Having created it, you can then do it'll take a while to come through, isn't it? No, you can do git push origin and the name of the ticket, and that will then back up your work to the assuming that you've committed any change, that will then back up your work to the remote server, and we don't have to worry about losing it.
So that goes to the main where it is now, the main place where it is.
Right, but on a different branch from develop or staging or master. So that branch is effectively then kind of a sandbox, and it's not going to affect anybody as long as you're pushing to that branch.
Yeah.
And you can't. No one's allowed to push directly to the important branches, so it's all safe.
Okay, good. can't break it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then later on, when you're ready, you can do a pull request from that. And you know, pull request doesn't mean that it's ready to merge. It's like the lovely thing about pull requests is that you can then so easily see the difference between, you know, the one code and another and what changes have been made. So
that's the green and the pink page, is it?
Yeah, exactly. And then so what that means is, like, so we've got here, for example, this is the one that Nico's working on, which ultimately is going to hopefully throw out the Mercury editor and the need for those permissions and so on. You know, we can go to there, and so Nico is like, he's like, some people are like sensitive, like, oh no, I can't show my work until it's perfect and it's all done. Yeah. Nico has been following the wonderful procedure, which is just that basically every time he does a little bit of stuff, he pushes it up into the branch. The pull request automatically updates, and anybody who's interested can kind of see how his work's evolving and what files he's added and which direction he's going in, and it, you know, creates this transparency for the team that allows us to work more effectively together. So
yeah, good.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess the only thing we didn't, there were people not clamoring to have any new tickets voted on. Praveen was looking for another small ticket to work on. There's, I guess we've got, I don't know if you would be interested. We've got this one about trying to investigate why some of these cucumber tests run really long. Is that of any interest, Praveen?
I mean, I could take a look at it.
So that's I think that's always, you know, helpful. Let's see, anything else? I mean, we've got another small ticket from what's it called, from Federico. But I guess that is about like a minor change to the CSS that you know, ultimately, again, if we move away from Mercury editor, might change. But that would be a certainly, I think. Yeah, that's this one. That should be quite a simple one. And the other thing, what I would say is, so we have all of the like the last, you know, all of this stuff here, all these tickets opened by Nico. These are all kind of like production errors that we were having that were tracked by Airbrake and so on. And so if you want to look into any of these, and that would be more than welcome. Just, you know, just sort of starting to investigating what they are, why they're happening. Is it even like related to current code? So, you know,
sure thing.
That's all good stuff. All right. I think we'll have to stop. Oh, go on.
Yeah. So all of my test cases passed. All of 3 builds have been passed. So
great. Yep. Well, I'll try and get that review in ASAP. All right. Great to see everybody. Sorry that all ends up sometimes dragging on so long. I think we have unblocked everybody today. Have great fun. This time next year, we're back Tuesday. Oh gosh, I've got a workshop. What I want to do, I guess after Easter, we will try and do this proper sprint thing where we basically, if people haven't finished their tickets within the next 2 weeks, we'll sort of deassign them and then yeah, move backwards and forwards. All right. Bye for now, everybody. Yeah, Travis for AVAV. But so I think you can if you create a .travis file and stick it in an AVAV, Nico.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I'll see about turning that on. All right. Thanks everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you.